Hey everybody, here with our very own Father Jared today. Thank you for being with us today, Father Jared.
Thanks for having me on the show.
For his first Liturgical Pursuit video.
I'm very competitive, so let's see how it goes.
Okay, for the first question. So, do you have a piece? Dan has a piece right here, Pastor Dan's piece.
Well, I do have a chalice right here.
Oh, that could work.
Will this work?
Oh, wow. Yep. Father Jared's one up in Pastor Dan here. He's a lot taller.
Yeah, I'm more Anglican than he is. Just kidding.
Okay, well, first question. Let's test it. Are All Saints and All Souls Day the same thing?
They are not the same thing. So, All Saints is November 1st, and All Souls Day is November 2nd. So, they're not the same thing.
That's correct. All right, Jared, you can roll as I ask you this next question and go ahead and move your piece and see if you can catch up to Pastor Dan.
Okay, here we go. Oh, I got a 3.
Okay, he's coming for you, Dan. All right, Jared, when did the church begin celebrating both of these days?
Oh, now I'm going to really show how much of a nerd I am. All Saints Day was much earlier. It was started to be celebrated in the 200s, actually. All Souls Day was a much later development, but typically it emphasizes a little bit of a different aspect. So.
That's correct. Okay, you can keep going.
Okay.
All right, give us another roll.
Here we go. I got a 6. I'm coming up close here.
He's coming up to Dan. Oh boy. Okay, up next. Why do we celebrate these days? These two different days in the life of the church?
Yeah, good question. It is very important to establish that it's not because we're trying to pray anybody out of purgatory. A lot of times that's what more Protestant-minded people think that All Saints and All Souls is all about. But really, All Saints got started in the early church in the 200s when churches were being persecuted and a lot of Christians were being martyred for their faith. And so the idea being that we had a holiday that would celebrate the lives of those who had given up their life, who had served the church, who had done good things. And so in the history of the church, then this holiday has become about just remembering the work of those Christians who've gone before us. The godly folks who've been gifted by God to do wonderful things. That's what we're celebrating on All Saints Day. And so that is really early tradition. And then All Souls Day is slightly more local focused. So that started much later in like the 10th century or something like that. But basically, that's where we remember the lives of those who've gone before us in our own church. And so we focus more on our parish on November 2nd. So for example, recently we lost Larry Boast, a man near and dear to many hearts within our church. And so we would remember somebody like Larry on November 2nd.
2 for 2, Jared.
Woohoo!
Both days.
Yes.
All right, you can go ahead and roll.
Okay, here we go. Oh, I think I'm gonna bypass Dan. I got a 5.
Ooh.
So I get to go all the way over here.
There goes our
Take that.
assistant rector.
Dan goes away for a week and I take over.
No, gotta come back, Dan. Reclaim your title. Okay, next question. Then you're just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
What is the color for All Saints and why?
Yeah, this is a great way for me to establish an even wider principle, but we wear white on All Saints Day. Typically, any of these big feast days that we celebrate throughout the year, any kind of major holidays in the church are white and maybe a little bit of gold thrown in there. The only time we do red is for feast days associated with blood, so any martyrs and everything. But on this All Saints Day, we're not necessarily focusing on, although there are many martyrs in that group, we're just focusing on remembering the fact that in spite of death, we believe in resurrection and we're united through space and time with all those who've gone before us.
It's a beautiful truth, and it is correct.
Awesome.
Because it's the truth, right? All right, go ahead and roll.
Okay, I just got 2 this time, so just get to go right there.
Dan has a chance then, I guess. Okay, so knowing that you in particular were a missionary in Germany with Abby, could you tell us what happens in Germany on All Saints?
Yeah, good question. It's definitely something that's more present in the mind of people. So it's interesting because a lot of people haven't gone to church in generations even, but yet everyone, the term Allerheiligen, which means All Saints, is well known in the public, in just the general public. So in a couple of states in Germany, it's even a public holiday, which is there are certain types of holidays that are known as Stiller Tag, Stiller Feiertag, which are, basically you're not allowed to do any major kind of loud events on those days. And so it's a place for much more quiet, but only in a few states is it actually like a public holiday. In others, it's just known through the church. So, yeah.
Oh, seems like you were paying attention all those years in Germany, because that is correct.
Thank you.
All right, another roll.
Okay. How many more questions we got? One more question. Okay, after this. Okay. Okay, I got a 3.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I can stump you on this one. So, could you tell us how this word is pronounced?
Oh, okay.
What this word is?
Allerheiligenstraße.
Mm-hmm. And what's the meaning of that word?
So Allerheiligen is All Saints Day, and Strieze is a type of bread where they basically kind of knead, I think is the word. They knead the dough in a way that kind of looks like a pretzel almost, but it's a loaf, but it's kind of pretzeled into each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the real question I'm going to try and stump you with is what happens with this bread on All Saints Day in Austria and Bavaria?
This is a good question. I did not know enough practicing Christians to learn these kind of traditions. Sadly, Christianity is mostly dying out in many places. But I don't know. I guess I'm just going to take a wild shot in the dark. I think that maybe they would bake them and stuff them in people's mailboxes throughout the parish.
That would be real kind, wouldn't it?
It would.
Well, you might get one stuffed in your mailbox if you have a godfather. Because in Austria and Bavaria, on All Saints Day, godfathers give these to their godchildren.
I did not know this. I learn something new every day.
Yep. So we stumped him.
Wow.
So
do I go negative spots now, or
no? You just stop, and then we'll pick up with Pastor Dan next time. And
so I don't have to pay $200 and go back to go or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
You're all set.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on the show.
Well, thanks for coming out to play. Hopefully, I think we all learned something.
Sounds good.
Alrighty, well, we'll see you all next time.